Hey guys, it's August. Welcome to August. It's time for another newsletter and another round of specials and things that we're doing a little different every month. We always have a coffee, and we always have one of our drink powders or cocos. We usually feature a tea, and then usually maybe an accessory or something to make a great drink with, and we're gonna do all of that today. This month's coffee of the month is from Indonesia. It's from the island of Sulawesi. This is pretty much in central Indonesia. It's an island of its own. A lot of people never heard of Sulawesi, but they make amazing coffee there. Really, really good coffee. Like most Indonesian coffees, it's very earthy, very low in acidity. You literally can taste sort of the dirt of Sulawesi when you drink it. It's noted for its spiciness too. It has a spicy pepper finish to it. So it's a real classic Indonesian in that it is smooth, but it is rich and easy on the body, very low in acidity, and it has that spicy aftertaste. It's just a coffee, your Indonesian coffees, all of them are my favorite. I love the Indonesian coffees, and Sulawesi is a special treat. So I really suggest that this month I would take advantage of it. The Sulawesi kind of comes and goes. We don't get a lot of it, but we have some right now, and we're gonna be featuring it all month. So check it out on the site, okay? We'll move on to our drink powder of the month, which is white chocolate. I've actually got some over here. It's our White Night chocolate. This is a product that we make. There's not a lot of white chocolates out there for drink making. It's very, very simple to use. It's very soluble, so you can put it in milk, you can put it in water, hot or cold. You can put it in your coffee and make a white mocha. Great in your espresso, makes phenomenal mochas. Get yourself some white chocolate. I really recommend it. The other thing we're talking about this month, because it is summer and it is hot, and hot coffee might not be everybody's thing this time of year, but we got to get going, right? We need our caffeine, we need our jolt. So we're featuring our cold brew, really our cold brew toddy maker. It'll be on the website. It's very nice, very, very simple to use. These are some of the different coffees that we're suggesting. But when you buy this unit for, I believe, around $45, you'll get your carafe. This is for storing your coffee in the fridge. You'll get your coffee holder, which is this big plastic device. It comes with a filter that you'll put in the bottom and a plug that you'll put in the bottom. Just kind of set the device. You don't have to set it on top here. You could even just set it on the counter. Add your coffee. They suggest one of our bags, one 12-ounce portion into here. You can use a filter bag. They have filter packs that come with it that are disposable, or you can just put your coffee right in. There will be a plug at the bottom, so it's not going to go anywhere. You can just add your coffee and start adding your cold water. They recommend about 7 cups of cold water, which is about 56 ounces, maybe a little more, maybe like 60. I would just say maybe like a half a gallon of water, 64 ounces. And just kind of pour it over your coffee and stir up your coffee and let it just kind of steep in this device. And then it has, of course, a lid, so it's not too sloppy, and you're done. You put that on top. They suggest 12 to 24 hours of steep time. And when it's done draining, obviously you'll dispose of your coffee. You'll have a full urn full of coffee here, and you can just put your lid on it and put it in the fridge. It's more of a concentrate, so they say 3 parts water to 1 part of this, or 2 parts water, 1 part of concentrate. You kind of make it yourself. You can drink it straight, no dilution. That's kind of how I do it, but that's really, really strong. So kind of follow their directions, see what works best for you. We're also featuring, you know, because people are like, oh, what coffee do I use? We're recommending our Espresso Gold, or maybe our Brazil, San Diego Sunrise. The Old Town Mex is a very nice one as well. So there's a lot of good coffees for making cold brew. There actually is no bad coffee you can buy from us for making cold brew. They'll all work really good. We'll have an option there on the website for cold brew grind. We like a very coarse grind on this product, so we can grind it for you, and if that's the case, you'll select cold brew grind. Okay, so that's kind of the cold brew and what we're featuring here. Some of the coffees, the methodology. Get yourself one of these, honestly. Cold brew is not a fad. It's a really cool way to make coffee. Basically, since you're not using all that hot water to make coffee like in a traditional method, you're not extracting so much of the solubles of the coffee, the meat, the pulp. When we brew coffee, some of the coffee just naturally dissolves into the pot. That's part of that hot water hitting dry grinds. So that gets in our stomach, and for a lot of us creates acid reflux, gives us a lot of disorders, and too much coffee is hard on the body. So cold brew, because we're not using that hot water to pull flavor, we're using thyme, it just kind of drops subtly. We don't get all the heavy meat and pulp and solubles of the coffee, so it's a lot easier on the body. It's lower in acidity and it's more gentle on the body. And because it sits in the water longer too, you're actually extracting more of the caffeine from the coffee. So cold brew itself is easier on the body and higher in caffeine. both wins in my world. That's what I say. So get yourself a toddy maker if you already have one. Get yourself some coffee, order cold brew grind, and we'll hook you up. Moving on, I guess, to the last item then is our tea of the month, which is white ice. This is a personal favorite of mine. This is a blended tea that we do. So it's a really delicate white tea leaves. White tea is a very, very precious tea. It's even less processed than green tea. Essentially, tea is picked from the tree. For black tea, it's laid out on patios sometimes. It's left to ferment. It changes color over time, becomes black. I believe that in China, black tea is only a tea that has been fermented for 10 years. Anything less than 10 years in China is considered a Oolong or a semi-fermented tea. So black tea, true black tea, is not what most of us drink here. We have something in between. In this case, white tea is the young tea leaves picked off the tree, and they're not even allowed to dry very much. They're delicate leaves, they're the baby leaves. And they sell this as white tea. It has a real clean taste. It's really one of my favorite teas. In this particular tea, white ice, we also blend in the famous root yerba mate. So yerba mate comes from, some people debate in South America where, but primarily Brazil is one of the big regions. It's a root from the ground. So it's kind of like, you know, anytime you have a root, you get a lot of medicine. In this case, it has a good amount of caffeine as well. It's a little different. It absorbs into your body slower and longer. So really, this product will invigorate you quite a bit. We use a little bit of apple extract to give it a hint of apple essence, and then we decorate it with some rose petals. So it's a really high tea, and to me, it makes a great iced tea. You've seen in some other newsletters where I featured our smart tea maker. That's a great device for making iced tea, and it's a great device for making this iced. You don't have to steep it really long. You get the medicinal or health benefits pretty fast. I would tend to keep, if you're using hot water to steep it, I would keep it less than a minute. I think the final product from this in about a 1 minute steep is rich enough. You don't get too earthy with that yerba mate, and you don't over extract the tannins from the white tea, making it bitter. So that's just kind of me going off on a tea tangent, but what I'm telling you is the white ice is truly my favorite tea that we make. Get yourself some. So I think that kind of wraps up August, you guys. Once again, we're featuring Sulawesi as a coffee of the month from Indonesia. Definitely try this. We're also featuring our white night cocoa, which is, people love our white chocolate because white chocolate is hard to find. We're also featuring some of our different coffees used for cold brew. And if you don't know how to make cold brew, we're selling you a device online to teach you how to make something so simple you'll enjoy. And then finally, we're featuring the white iced tea as our tea of the month. That combination of beautiful organic white tea from China blended with yerba mate from Brazil is just a great mixture, and it feels great on the body. And so I suggest getting some of that for sure. So until September, and we're all going back to school, and it's football season, and Labor Day's coming up, get yourself kind of the blast, what do we call that? The dog days of summer are here. Cold brew, Sulawesi, white ice, white chocolate. Cheers.